Great information. Echo what you're saying, and then to kind of bring it back to just Jamsz Konnections and where we started, and part of being the example, I guess. Courtney, you talked about we need to be the change, right? Earlier in the conversation. When Jamsz Konnections first started, we actually were an organization who put on events on behalf of other nonprofits, right? At no direct cost to them. And just, I love bringing people together. And it kind of started with a health issue of my own. And I thought about, what do I love to do? I was diagnosed with cancer. I was
Mm,
celebrating being 10 years cancer free. And I'm like, I want to put a concert together. And I thought, man, it would be a great thing to bring people together for connection and doing good, right? But my initial reason for starting Jamsz Konnections as a nonprofit is I thought, how dare I come into this industry knowing nothing about it and claim that I can declare I know what's best for you? So
mhm,
I wanted to go through what it felt like to start a nonprofit, the challenges, and how hard it is to build community, to raise funds. And so, as we have this conversation around building trust, one of the things that I feel my mother taught me is one of the best ways to build change or create change is be the example, not just be the change you wish to see, be the example, right? Those of you that have kids, you tell them, don't do this. But what do? They do what you do because they watch you, right? So just understand it as an organization, people may tell you what they think of you and they may not. And you may or may not know who's watching you, but people are constantly watching you, right? So that's why we need to do what we say, right? Because that builds the trust. That's what the conversation is around. And so I just simply, from my lived experience, I started Jamsz Konnections because I see the great work that the nonprofits do. And I saw the challenge that small nonprofits had. So I'm like, I want to be an advocate and ally to these organizations, right? And so when we start getting in conversations about nonprofits and the great work, I rarely think about Jamsz Konnections being a nonprofit in that space because I began it to support others, right? And so sometimes I find being vulnerable and transparent is that Jamsz Konnections sometimes doesn't get the support we need because we're different, right? And I'm proud to say we're different, right? How do we shake up things? I love what Tasha is doing at the Nonprofit Hive. It's just having a conversation that's different than what most people are willing to do. And
mhm.
as leaders, if we're not willing to have those different conversations and not live the status quo, I believe that's another way to rebuild trust. When you say this is how we've always done it, but is it working? Answer that tough question. Is
Mhm.
it working? To me, to being transparent, to building trust, to building a community or your culture is, are you that type of leader that's willing to learn from your people? Are you
Mm,
that type of leader that's willing to be vulnerable and say, I don't know it all, or oops, I messed up, right? Not being afraid. We got in this space of service because we want to make a difference. We want to make a change. And the only way we can do that is to constantly evaluate what's working, what's not, and be willing to be the change, be the example.